Welcome to This Week in Astrology. This is episode number 538 for June 15 through 21, 2020. This week features three important events: Mercury turning retrograde, the Summer Solstice chart, and the second of three eclipses, which is a solar eclipse in Cancer. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm your host, Benjamin Bernstein, broadcasting from thisweekinastrology.com. I simultaneously record these weekly forecasts as an audio podcast and a video, so you can choose whichever format you prefer. The video version includes my chart graphics for things like lunations and aspect patterns. You can also see these graphics if you read my forecasts online. Just go to astroshaman.com, click blog on the menu bar, then choose the astrology forecast category. Please do leave me a rating, review, or comment wherever you're getting this episode so others like you can find it. What's old as we come into this week, we have a waning moon. Venus is still retrograde through June 25th, and longer-term retrogrades, Jupiter through September 12, Saturn through September 29, Pluto through October 4th. We also have a grand trine persisting with Venus, Juno, and Saturn through July 6th. So let's go into what's new. Normally I have bonus things that I do, but the stuff is so major this week that I'm just going to focus on the big events. I think three of those is enough to keep in mind for a single week. So we're going to go to Mercury retrograde, and I'm going to start the slide for that. I'm going to bring up my screen sharing real quick. There we go. All right, I'm all buttoned up on the video. So Mercury turns retrograde today. Again, that today means Thursday, June 18, at 12:59 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. That's at 14 degrees, 45 minutes Cancer. It'll backpedal for 3.5 weeks until July 12th, when the Winged Messenger turns direct at 4:26 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. That'll be at 5.5 degrees Cancer. Mercury retrograde is ideal for introspection. With this retrograde taking place entirely within Cancer, consider how things are going with your home, family, and security, and how are you dealing with your emotions and shadow work. Aspects: Mercury square Chiron. The theme of shadow work gets additional emphasis by Mercury square to Chiron, the wounded healer. This pandemic has certainly given us no end of challenging emotional catalyst. As of June 15, according to Wikipedia, over 433,000 deaths worldwide have been attributed to COVID-19, including over 117,000 in the US. People are justifiably concerned about their health and the health of others. Many are mourning the death of loved ones. There's additional stress caused by the worst unemployment since the Great Depression. Half of those in the US earning less than $40,000 per year have lost their jobs. Now, a quick note here: in the following paragraphs and other sections of this forecast, I'll be discussing Black Lives Matter and social justice. It feels important to correlate these movements with the current astrological energies. At the same time, I must acknowledge that I've had no significant personal involvement with these movements so far, and I'm a 60-year-old white man who has benefited from plenty of white privilege. However, I have started listening to podcasts such as NPR's Code Switch and It's Been a Minute with Sam Sanders on these matters, and I'm reading How to Be an Anti-Racist by Ibram K. Kendi, amazing book. His last name is X-E-N-D-I. After that, I plan to read his National Book Award winner called Stamped from the Beginning: The Definitive History of Racist Ideas in America. Excuse me. I am striving to be anti-racist in my thoughts, words, and deeds, but if you feel that I'm falling short, please let me know. We all need to help each other on things like this, because it appears to be tricky territory even for the best of us. People of color have been disproportionately impacted by this crisis. On a percentage basis, they've been dying in far greater numbers and have suffered many more job losses. Those jobs that remain often cannot be done at home and expose them to the general public. This increases their chances of catching COVID-19. Black Lives Matter protests in the US, energized by the murders of George Floyd, Rayshard Brooks, and many others by the police, have spread around the world. For the first time, a majority of US whites now support the Black Lives Matter movement, and large numbers of whites, newly awakened to the pervasiveness of systemic racism, are participating in those protests. Chiron is well suited to represent these themes. He represents wounding as well as mentoring and healing. I, for one, will be using this Mercury retrograde to learn more about systemic racism and social justice. This will help me understand how I can best support healing in these areas. I started this section by mentioning shadow work. This is the process of facing and healing your emotional and psychological wounds. You might get triggered by some of the situations I just mentioned, or your catalyst might be something else. We all have plenty we can get upset about these days, but you'll most effectively support peace in the world when you hold peace within you, as within, so without. If you don't already have a quick and effective way to process and heal your emotional wounds, you can check out my free healing invocation. There's a link in the show notes. It's helped thousands purge their pain by delegating their healing to their higher selves. Mercury makes one other notable aspect as it turns retrograde, a conjunction to Vesta. This is the asteroid goddess representing selfless service to a higher cause. This aspect is also timely. Many major corporations are now pledging significant support for social justice causes, and many citizens are contributing their valuable time and energy to participate in peaceful protests. Is there a worthy cause that you feel drawn to champion? This Mercury retrograde is a great time to clarify your thinking about what it is and how you will support it. Here are the usual Mercury retrograde prescriptions. Make sure you're understanding and being understood, back up important data, double check any travel plans. It's best to delay important new beginnings and major purchases until Mercury turns direct on July 12th at 4:26 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Even better, wait until after the new moon on July 20th at 1:33 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. To maximize your chances for success in important matters, choose an optimal starting moment using electional astrology. I'll have a link to that in the show notes also. So this ends our Mercury retrograde interpretation here on the video. I'm going to redo this a little bit. Alrighty, I'm going to share my screen again so you can see the slide for the next item. That's the summer solstice right there. Okay, so the sun enters Cancer on June 20, which is a Saturday. That's at 5:44 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. For starters, this radiates the energies of home, family, security, emotions, and shadow work for the next month. More importantly, the sun's entry into Cancer marks the spring equinox. This gives us a snapshot of the astrological energies that will influence the coming 3 months. The highlight of the summer solstice chart is a stellium, that's 3 or more conjunct planets. It includes Pallas Athena, Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto. The 2 most important players in the stellium are Saturn and Pluto. As I noted in my spring equinox forecast, whose relevant sections I'm incorporating here, the full year Saturn-Pluto conjunction set the stage for COVID-19 and its titanic global effects. Pandemics, global financial downturns, and widespread fear are all associated with hard aspects between these 2 challenging planets. These 2 mighty planets can also set the stage for powerful new structures, such as the recent global upswell of support for Black Lives Matter and social justice. Now, if you'd like a deep dive into these Saturn-Pluto effects, you should read my January 12 forecast for the Saturn-Pluto conjunction. It only happens once in the year, and that's the one time I was able to discuss it in depth. And you can also listen to the free MP3 from my 2020 forecast lecture, which is linked from that post, for an in-depth historical overview of Saturn-Pluto hard aspects. Again, I'll link to all this in the show notes. The stellium also includes Jupiter. The triple conjunction of Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto, which crisscross each other all year, is the signature event of 2020. One effect Jupiter has on Saturn-Pluto is to further amplify their challenging effects. But all is not gloom and doom. Jupiter also represents hope, joy, luck, and celebration. If these energies do not seem strong right now, they await your discovery when the time is right. You can always find rays of hope, even in the darkest times. Finally, the asteroid goddess Pallas Athena can also be associated with battle, but she's also known for her skills in strategy, diplomacy, and politics. We can all make good use of her talents during this challenging time. As far as aspects, the June 21 solar eclipse lines up just 9 hours after this summer solstice. So consider all of these solar eclipse aspects that I'm about to discuss to be part of the summer solstice interpretation. And now we'll move on to that. Alrighty, let's share the screen again and get our final graphic up here. Solar eclipse in Cancer. Today's solar eclipse is the second of 3 eclipses in June and July. It lines up at 2:41 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time at 0 degrees, 21 minutes Cancer. Like any Cancer new moon, the solar eclipse supports new beginnings in the areas of emotional expression, home, family, security, and shadow work. Aspects. The luminaries squeeze in for a selfie with the north node of the moon, with the sun and moon only about 1 degree from this destiny point. This is a great time to clarify your life purpose and pour new energy into making it real. With the north node in Gemini, what new learning would serve your highest good? Is there some message you feel inspired to communicate? Would it align with your soul purpose to connect with some of your siblings or neighbors? The luminary's broad conjunction to Vesta suggests selfless service to a higher cause. Is it time to get involved in the resurgent social justice movement, or is there some other cause that resonates with your heart? A tight quincunx from Aquarian Saturn encourages innovative adjustment in response to challenge. Finally, the Sun and Moon's loose squares to Juno and Chiron indicate relationship wounding and healing, a theme shared by all 3 eclipses. A great book that has helped many challenged couples co-create win-win outcomes is Nonviolent Communication, A Language of Life, Life-Changing Tools for Healthy Relationships. That's by Marshall Rosenberg. It's sold over 2 million copies. It's in lots of languages. Great book. There's a link to it in the show notes there too. The solar eclipse's Sabian symbol is, on a ship, the sailors lower an old flag and raise a new one. Here in the US, elements of this symbol are happening both literally and figuratively. Confederate flags, long a prominent presence at NASCAR races, have just been banned at their events. And Confederate monuments, which flag our racist past, are coming down all over the South. The US and the world are sailing a new course toward greater racial equality and social justice. The new flag has not yet been raised, but there's still time. Eclipse effects can last up to 12 months. Well, maybe one flag. Just a couple of days ago, the Supreme Court ruled that people who are gay, lesbian, transgender, queer are covered under the Civil Rights Act, under the Sex Discrimination Clause. So maybe we should be raising that gay pride flag as that first flag to come up under that Sabian symbol. Once again, let's see. Let me stop the share, and I think I can come back to my main text here. So I'm going to pause for just a sec. All right, so that's all our events, and I have a shorter announcement section this time than last. Everyone is welcome to participate in most Awakening Plus calls for free. Here are micro descriptions of the June online events I've scheduled so far. Brand new announcement, we've identified our guest presenter for June. On June 23rd, we're going to do Heal Your Wounded Inner Child with Sandra Pelly. Do you experience challenges in your relationships, work life, and daily activities? Many negative emotions that contribute to these difficulties, including guilt, shame, and unworthiness, were seeded in your first 5 years of life. On Tuesday, June 23rd at 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, you'll have a chance to heal the little you at the heart of these issues. Awakening Plus guest presenter Sandra Pelly will gently guide us into sacred space. Hand in hand with your little you, you'll journey back to an epicenter moment from your childhood, an emotional wound that's causing undesirable behaviors and reactions. Sandra will help you heal this traumatic childhood memory, and she'll make sure that you feel secure and comfortable throughout the process. It is a group process, but everyone's going to be doing their own little thing as part of that. Also, as usual, every week we do the New Earth support call. That'll be every Saturday at noon EDT till further notice. We will create our sacred container, invoke embodied awakening, and then flow energy to support the more awakened new Earth currently blossoming. The divine always rewards us with personal spiritual upgrades and profound bliss. We've done it for quite a few weeks now, and it's never the same. It's amazing how always there's some kind of variety in there that gives us a different way to support the Great Awakening. And it always feels amazing. Awakening Plus features at least 3 live streaming events each month, although I'm currently offering many more to support you during the pandemic. Most events are open to everyone for free. The archive of over 240 transformative events, accountability partners, and the forum are available exclusive to Awakening Plus members. You can learn more at awakeningplus.com. Of course, there's a link in the show notes. Another announcement, 3 powerful eclipses are happening. We had one on June 5th already. I discussed the one on the 21st and also July 5th, and they can all affect your most important relationships. Eclipse effects last up to 12 months, and this gives you plenty of time to cultivate their awesome opportunities. The following interpretations only summarize the most important eclipse effects, but in a nutshell, the one we had on June 5th, it was a Sagittarius lunar eclipse. That supports release or adjustment in a wide variety of areas. For starters, these include philosophy, religion, and higher education, in addition to playing the role of professor, philosopher, guru, or other wisdom giver. And let's not forget foreign travel and influences, expansion, quests, and adventures, as well as exuberance, joy, and celebration. Sagittarius has lots of keywords. This eclipse's most important aspects are focused into one potent aspect pattern. The T-square includes the Moon, Sun, Venus, Mars, Ceres, and Neptune. Its critical themes include relationships, creativity, spirituality, and shadow work. And of course, I have given a complete interpretation of that eclipse on earlier podcasts and videos and in my written forecast. Then there's the Cancer solar eclipse on June 21, which I already told you about, just on this very one. And upcoming is the Capricorn lunar eclipse on July 5th. Since it's also a full moon, this lunar eclipse at 14 Capricorn supports release and adjustment in the areas of business, productivity, and reputation. Other Capricorn themes include maturity, responsibility, and time management, as well as planning and implementation. 3 supporting players from the prior eclipse now step into starring roles. Vesta was over 7 degrees from the luminaries on June 21st, but now opposes the moon by just 1/30th of a degree. That's really tight. This brings the theme of selfless service to a higher cause front and center. Similarly, the luminary squares to Juno and Chiron on June 21st are loose, about 7 and 9 degree orbs. Orb means how exact is the aspect. But during the July 5th eclipse, these squares tighten to a 4 degree orb. This puts a front page, bold type emphasis on relationship wounding and healing. Not only that, Juno and Chiron make an exact opposition the previous day and form a grand cross with the sun and moon during this eclipse. And a grand cross is astrology's most intense and challenging aspect pattern. As if all that was not enough, this eclipse also aspects 6 other planets. 6, count them 6. As noted earlier, these 3 eclipses could powerfully affect you for the next 12 months. Let me help you harness these potent energies so they'll make your life more wonderful. Are you concerned about how these eclipses will affect you? Do you want to maximize their benefits? Then consider an eclipse-focused astrology consultation. These eclipses impact 37% of your natal chart. Any sensitive points in your chart will be strongly affected in the following ranges. In the mutable signs, that's Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces, anything between 10 and 21 degrees and 25 to 29 degrees. And in the cardinal signs, Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn, anything from 0 to 19 degrees. That's about 2/3 of the sign. What's a sensitive natal point? Personal planets, angles, the nodes of the moon, and any planet that is the ancient or modern ruler of an angle. I usually run a special and reduce my rates by 33% during eclipse season, but I've already dropped my rates 33% because of the pandemic. So your usual eclipse discount is already included in my current pricing. Makes it easy. These sessions can cover any topic you like, not just eclipse effects. Shamanic healing and awakening activation can also be included in your session. The discounts reflect the 33%. The discounts below, that I will name in a sec, reflect the 33% discount already in place. The longer the session, the more I can help you. And like all my clients, you're protected by the Astro Shaman guarantee. If you don't feel that your session was helpful, it's free. You don't pay for your eclipse focus session when you schedule it. You can choose from 1 hour, 90 minutes, 2 hours, or 3 hours. The pricing basically is, before the pandemic, I was at $180 an hour for astrology. That's now $120 an hour. So just calculate it out. An hour is $120, 90 minutes is $180, 2 hours $240, 3 hours $360. I look forward to helping you make the best use of these powerful eclipses, as well as your other important astrological influences. And of course, there's a link to the show note in this. That's the announcements. Thank you for being here. Once again, I'm Benjamin Bernstein with astroshaman.com. I can serve you with astrology readings, shamanic healing, awakening activation, astrological event timing, and one-of-a-kind life coaching. All my one-on-one services are equally effective in person or long distance. And as I mentioned, during the pandemic, I have dropped my rates significantly by a third because so many people are experiencing financial hardship. I also offer an unbeatable price on SolarFire, the #1 astrology software for Windows. And as I mentioned, I run the Awakening Plus online membership for spiritual support. You can learn about all this and more at astroshaman.com. You can learn all about this and more in the show notes. To see them, go to astroshaman.com/538. Again, astroshaman.com/538. Please reach out if you have any questions. My email is info@astroshaman.com. My number for voice and text, 828-338-9852. I would love to connect with you. We are wrapping this one up. Once again, please leave me a rating, review, or comment wherever you're getting this episode so that others like you can find it. This Week in Astrology is honored to be chosen as one of the internet's top 10 astrology podcasts. Check out our website where you can hear the show and subscribe to podcast updates. You can also do a single sign up for 2 great opportunities, chances to win a free consultation and have your chart interpreted on the show. Go to thisweekinastrology.com. From there, you'll be redirected to the right area of astroshaman.com. Whatever your sun sign, my forecast can help you make the best use of the current astrological energies. All dates and times are in the U.S. Eastern Time Zone. Events are most powerful on the dates listed, but their influence will be active for at least a week before and after. Everyone's affected by these global transits, but you'll be most powerfully affected when moving planets activate sensitive points in your natal chart. Discover how these transits will personally affect you by booking a session with me. You can learn more about my Astrology Plus sessions, astroshaman.com, services on the menu bar, first pull down, Astrology Plus. Thanks again for spending this time with me. Stay safe, stay healthy. I wish you infinite blessings as the stars light your way.